Good morning, afternoon or evening. Coming up today on part one of my latest completely balmy £2 bus challenge, I'm going to see how far south I can travel from the Midlands. We've got beautiful countryside, multiple bus journeys and a slight dread that we're heading towards Storm Darragh. But first off, just a reminder to always thank your bus driver as you get off. Mate. Cheers, mate. Cheers, mate. Thank you, mate. Cheers.
No direction, just the thinning line. Onward trudging through the sands of time.
Good morning and welcome to another bus challenge video. We headed north in a previous one, we've headed to Manchester and we've headed up to Nottingham, all north directions from here in Leicester. But today you join me from the rather deserted Haymarket bus station and we're actually going to head south. We're going to see how far we can get from Leicester using just £2 buses heading south this time. A lot of you guys have requested it in the comments, so we're going to give it a go. We've got a rough plan, or have got a rough plan of where I'd like to get to by the end of today. I've booked my return coach journey, so fingers crossed I get there. Yeah, come with me today and we'll see how far we can get. Probably going to be a multi-part video, so I'm sure you can leave your guesses in the comments like you did last time. And again, thank you very much for all your support on these. And yeah, I'll see you when we catch the first bus. It's going to be in about 20 minutes from now. It's currently, as you can see from the board up there, it is currently 5:53. Our first bus that we're going to take today is 6:10. The first bus of the morning we're going to catch is the X3, which is going to take us all the way from here down to Market Harborough. It's operated by Arriva, and hopefully we're going to have a nice quiet bus. There's only a couple of people waiting by the bus stop at the moment, so hopefully it'll be a nice quiet bus. It's a little bit early to be filming really anything out the window. You won't be able to see anything, but yeah, we're just waiting for the bus now. There's a couple of first green buses sitting over there, electric buses, yeah, no sign of the X3 yet. Hopefully it's going to be on time. We've got quite a tight connection in Market Harborough itself. Arriva bus somewhere behind me, there we go. Maybe that's going to be the X3, don't know, we'll see in a minute. But yeah, we'll catch you on the bus in a moment. That was actually the 47, but it looks like this may be the X3 coming now. Sadly it wasn't, but the single decker that was lurking behind was indeed the X3. We weren't going to be treated to a new Enviro 400 MMC or one of Leicester's new street decks, but instead a 2011 Wright Pulsar 2. Morning, mate. Can I have a single to Market Harborough, please? Yeah. Cheers, mate. Thank you. These are one of the workhorses of the Arriva routes over the years. The no-frills buses with no Wi-Fi or USB power and definitely no next stop announcements, but they're usually pretty reliable and are likely to be able to cope with what should be an express route today down to Market Harborough. The X3 will today whisk us pretty much straight down the A6 to Market Harborough. Just shy of 20 miles, this journey is scheduled to take us about an hour. The X3 is a fairly express route, especially when we're leaving the city centre. We're going to pass by the Leicester rail station with its grand Victorian frontage, which is actually currently under renovation, and then we're going to head down London Road. Our first major stop will be Oadby. Once a small town in its own right, it's now just merely a suburb of Leicester. After this we'll run to Great Glen, Kidwick Beecham and then finally Market Harborough. Sadly today, I'm afraid all you're going to see is murky windows and reflections of me watching YouTube on my phone, because, well, it's winter and the sunrise isn't happening for another hour, and clearly Arriva are saving the planet by not washing their bus windows. In Great Glen, we take the old A6 route around the town, instead of jumping on the not-so-new now bypass. Passing by the Leicester Grammar School on our left, we're in what could be described as the musical hotbed of Leicestershire, with Great Glen being the homes of Serge from Kasabian and Engelbert Humperdinck. Rumour also has it that Ed Sheeran did an impromptu gig at a pub here once. After Great Glen, we do a little circle around Kibworth Beecham, not Beauchamp or Beechamp, a village clearly designed to frustrate people in its pronunciation. In reality though, like many other places throughout Leicestershire, it can trace its roots back to the Roman times, with a Grade II listed church dating back to the 13th century. It also has quite a nice little pub in it now. As we head around the McDonald's at the services just outside Market Harborough, we can see the blue of the daytime starting to make its first arrival, and hopefully this means I can at least show off some of the lovely scenery that I'm passing through in rural England today. And finally we head into the quaint little high street of Market Harborough. A Saxon town originally founded sometime around the 1st century, there's been a weekly market continuously held here since 1204, and in fact the market hall built in 1847 still stands as a market today. Actually, if I had time, I'd pop into the Market Cafe for a rather tasty breakfast cob. That's a breakfast roll, a bap, or a barm cake for you non-Midlanders. Sadly, there's no time for that, as my schedule says I should only have 10 minutes here today. Cheers, mate. So we've arrived in Market Harborough and we actually got here a little bit early, so I'm going to head over here to Pret a Manger in a minute and get myself a coffee. But we're now waiting for the X7. The X7 is a Stagecoach bus that's going to take us all the way down to Northampton. We were going to have a 10-minute connection, but actually we've managed to look out and get a 20-minute connection, which is fantastic. If I miss this bus, it's quite a while till the next one, so let's hope we do get this one and it does turn up on time. But yeah, the bus down here on the X3 was absolutely fine. Bus was really cold. I think it must have been the first one in the morning. They not turned the heater on. Yeah, no provision for USB, no Wi-Fi, no on-stop displays. It was a really old Arriva bus, to be honest. But comfy seats. A lot of the newer buses don't have comfy seats, so that was quite nice. I scratched the Pret idea. The Pret was closed, so gone to Tesco and got a cinnamon flavoured Coke Zero. We'll see what that's like. Probably going to be horrible. Hi mate, Northampton please. Thank you. And just like that, we're on the second bus of the day, the X7 from Stagecoach. This bus was bang on time and should be our carriage for another 60 minutes or so from Market Harborough down to Northampton. The main point along the route today is going to be Brixworth, exciting for me as it's home of Mercedes AMG, where they make the engines for the Mercedes Formula 1 car. Now, eagle-eyed bus nerds might turn around to me and say, well, couldn't you have just caught this X7 all the way from Leicester? And yeah, you're right, I could have done. But I did think that 2 hours on the same bus might not have been great for my legs or my sanity, so I think it was worth the extra £2 and the change in Market Harborough. Plus, we've got an extra bus and an extra bus company ticked off. As we head closer to Northampton, the sun rises further and the bus starts to really fill up. For the rest of the journey, it's seat sharing time. This bus, at this time of the morning, is filled with those on the way to their jobs and also a plethora of school kids not yet ready to start their school day. Frustratingly, the more we fill up, the more the collective hot air from the passengers starts to fog up the windows, and just as I thought I'd be able to start filming some lovely countryside, my hopes are dashed. The bus deposits us in the new Northgate Bus Interchange, which was opened in 2014. For a new bus station, it feels incredibly cramped, and it dumps you straight out into a crossroads. Not the best introduction to Northampton. Previously, the UK's capital city. Did you know that? I didn't. Thanks, AI. Okay folks, so the sun has now risen for this beautiful sunrise, and we're in Northampton, Nottingham I was about to say then, Northampton, we're in Northampton, beautiful sunrise. We've just got in there at the Northgate bus station, and you're probably thinking to yourself, why am I stood on the top of a car park? Mainly because it's busy, also because you get nice views of the surrounding area and also Northampton. But mainly, I wanted to show, the last time I was in Northampton taking a bus, I went from this place here, which, as you can see now, is a big wasteland. It was the Greyfriars bus station, commonly referred to as the mouth of hell, and I'll put a picture up on the video now. But it was the most depressing place you could ever wait for a bus. It was absolutely, well, it was just it was just not a nice place to wait. So it has been replaced by the Northgate bus station. We, however, have to go and take the bus. We're going to take the X6 to Milton Keynes. It's a Stagecoach Gold service, so I'm hoping for some nice leather seats and maybe some USB charging, and that's going to go oddly from the Drapery. So I believe it's because when they built this new bus station, They actually built it with too few bays, so obviously great planning there. But yeah, so we've got about 30 minutes till the next bus, which is one of the better connections. We've got some more tough connections coming up as we go further south, but yeah, we've got 30 minutes on this one, so I'm going to go and get myself a coffee because the as I say, when I was in Market Harborough, Pret hadn't opened. It was too early for them, so we're going to go and get one now. If we can just by the way, just appreciate the absolutely awful condition of the stairwell in this car park. Beautiful, hey? Right, anyway, well, I'll leave you there. It's absolutely bitter. One thing I noticed walking around the town centre this morning was the amount of discarded voice scooters dotted around the pavement. This must be an absolute nightmare for visually impaired or poor mobility people. Surely some designated parking infrastructure would go some way to fixing this problem, but I digress. Coffee now bought, it's time to head to catch our next bus, the X6, meaning that we're up to triple X now, and this won't be the last X-rated bus of the day. I was under the impression that the X6 was a Stagecoach Gold service, as the buses looked to be, on first impression, a Stagecoach Gold, but I noted on the front and sides the Stagecoach branding has been removed. Checking Wikipedia, it appears that this route wasn't a Stagecoach Gold route now or in the past. Milton Keynes, please, mate. Thank you. However, whilst the exterior branding can easily be removed, the seats inside were still the comfortable leather coach sheets we expect from Stagecoach Gold, emblazoned with the Stagecoach Gold logo, and so at least the ride would be comfortable today. However, this was clearly a hand-me-down 2014 model, as there was no Wi-Fi, no USB, no fancy reading light like we've seen on some of the other Stagecoach Gold services. What a shame. The X6 has been running for many years, an important connection. Today it's going to take us on a fairly quick journey between Northampton and Milton Keynes, with just some slight diversions around the Grange Park industrial area, through the village of Road, and lastly Stoke Bruern, before it's a pretty much direct route through Grafton Regis, Stony Stratford, and into the marvel that is central Milton Keynes. All in, we should be there in just over 3/4 of an hour. Looking back, I have to say this was probably the most relaxing and beautiful part of my bus challenge today. The sun was continually teasing us through the trees, promising a beautiful day ahead. The scenery as we headed out of Northampton and over the A45 and M1 was very much rural Midland green. The trees had shed their leaves, leading to a lovely orange coating on the ground, and the morning frost was just sparkling on the grass. Unfortunately, as we got further south, we saw evidence of the recent flooding, and this probably should have been a warning sign of what was to come later with the impending arrival of Storm Dara. I probably should have checked the weather before leaving, huh? Arriving into the village of Grafton Regis, we're greeted with thatched cottages and a quaint little pub. The village only has a population of about 100, and it feels almost Cotswoldy with the style of architecture. Certainly a million miles away from what is just down the road, greeting us at our destination on the X6 today. We hop over the West Coast Main Line again before being greeted with MK's brash American influences. Joining the grid road system, and immediately we're greeted with a cluster of fast food restaurants, a Burger King, a McDonald's and a recently added Taco Bell. This is followed by winding round the head offices of Network Rail and the recently opened Unity Place, home to banking giant Santander. We pass by the old bus station, a rather striking building that was MK's bus station between 1983 and 1997. The building is now used as a shelter to help with rough sleeping, and buses now depart from a windy collection of nondescript bus shelters outside the railway station. That's progress for you, eh? And we've made it to Milton Keynes, the city of delivery robots, weird grid road systems, redways, and all a little bit futuristic. I actually really love Milton Keynes' quirkiness. It's an odd little city. Is it a city now or a town? I'm sure it's a city now. For walking around, it's absolutely fantastic. But anyway, we're only here for a really short time, 15 minutes, at the new bus station over there, which is basically just outside the train station. I think this may be our bus coming there. It's the MK1, which is going to whisk us all the way down to Luton. I think this one goes along the motorway. There was two choices I could make here on this connection, actually. There was the MK1 Stagecoach service, or there was the X1, which is an Arriva new service, which basically runs the same thing. One goes down the A5, one goes down the M1. I'm going to take the MK1. It is in fact that bus there. I've just seen it. It's leaving in about 10 minutes. Really hope this one has got some USB power on it. So that last one was Stagecoach Gold in name only. Lovely seats, but no power. Wi-Fi wasn't working. So I'm very, very low on charge because, like an idiot, I did put my phone on charge last night, but for some reason it didn't want to charge. But yeah, so I'm going to go and get the MK1 bus through to Luton. The vehicle that will be whisking us away to Luton is going to be a 2017 Enviro 400 MMC in Stagecoach's distance livery. It's basically just mustard yellow. The MK1 is a bit of an odd route, which we'll be just riding for the first leg of today. It heads down to Luton, where we're getting off, before nipping over to Luton Airport and then almost doubling back on itself to head north up to Bedford. It basically does a massive V across the home counties. Hey mate, Luton Town please. Cheers mate, thank you. The route is going to take us past the Centre MK shopping centre, then through a number of Milton Keynes' infamous roundabouts and dual carriageways where the bus can really stretch its legs. In fact, that's one of the best things about MK. You can get everywhere quickly, including, to a lot of people's delight, out of it. In less than 30 minutes we'll have gone from the city centre to the motorway, where we'll loop around the big Amazon warehouse before a good 20 minutes of motorway running down the M1 to Luton. All in, this journey will take us just under an hour and we'll have covered 26 miles, all for the cost of £2. As one of Milton Keynes' few fans, I've always loved the colour of their roads. They're just so different from anywhere else, likely because of the materials used, but it's just another one of them quirks which makes you know straight away you're in MK. But we're quickly out of the centre and onto the higher speed grid roads which separate through traffic from the local suburbs and mean that we can quickly head towards the motorway today. As non-voiceover me mentioned earlier, there are two express routes now between MK and Luton. The MK1 that we're taking today and the X1 by Arriva. The Arriva X1 is a brand new service launched this year and is operated by a couple of coaches, and instead of going down the M1 it goes down the A5. Due to the flat fare, they both cost the same amount, and time-wise they're very similar, with the X1 taking just 15 minutes longer. Maybe next time the X1 will work for me in terms of times and I can take that. But it is great to see some long distance competition though for the public. And I guess for those coming from Luton to MK, it's a bit of an upgrade in terms of town centres. We've got the early morning sun now giving us a lovely blue sky, which always makes everything look prettier, even Milton Keynes. But sadly, it does highlight a common trend today, which is the lack of cleaned windows on buses. So apologies about that, it really doesn't help the filming. At this point, I noticed that the USB sockets weren't switched on, and after speaking to the driver, found out that they have no control over them, not particularly useful. These are one of the basics that buses should provide nowadays, as so many people are using their phones to watch Netflix or YouTube. In fact, that's a really good segue into the fact that if you're not subscribed, then please click on that button and subscribe now. Firstly, it'd mean absolutely tons to me, but also it means that when part 2 of this video comes out, you'll know about it straight away. If that's not a benefit on its own, then I don't know what is. Oh, and of course, it's free. We head into the Magna Park complex. At first I was a little bit confused about why this is called Magna Park, as there is a massive industrial estate just up the road also called Magna Park, but it appears that there are a couple of them across the country and they're all owned by the same company. Anyway, this one was opened just over 10 years ago and is now home to companies such as Amazon, John Lewis, River Island and H&M. Once we've looped around here and not picked up anybody, we're straight onto the M1 for only my second ever bus on a motorway journey. It still feels weird. It's a really interesting oddity that whilst driving on the motorway you don't need a seatbelt on an urban bus. If we were travelling on a coach or in a car, we absolutely would be reminded or fined if we didn't. but on an urban bus it's not needed. In fact, a bus such as this would legally be allowed to carry standing passengers driving down the motorway. I would imagine that there is some time limit of how much motorway travel is allowed, where a local bus would no longer be classed as that, and that they would have to enforce seatbelts. Intriguingly, the Arriva X1 service is on a coach and therefore has seatbelts fitted, even though it doesn't hit a motorway. Does anyone know if they're enforced on the X1? If you do, drop a comment below. Made it to Luton Interchange, Luton Bus Station and Luton Railway Station. We're waiting for the X10, which is supposed to go from Bay 3, which is over there. Can't see any X10 at the moment, but hopefully should be coming and taking us all the way to Hatfield. I'll tell you in a little bit about my fun journey from MK to Luton, but yeah, we've got to get on this bus now because it's another hour till the next one, I think. Right, see you in a bit. And this brings us to the end of part 1 of my journey south. So to tally up, I've travelled so far on 4 buses at a cost of £8 total. I've managed to use just 2 operators in Arriva and Stagecoach, and I've had a mix of 2 single and 2 double deckers. So far we've travelled approximately 76 miles on the bus, but in terms of as the crow flies, we've managed to travel just 60. It's not actually too far away, and I think hugging the M1 for most of the journey has really helped. In total, we've spent just short of 4 hours on the bus, and we've not had one single delay yet. Now that is foreshadowing, as it definitely does not continue that way. To find out why it doesn't continue that way, please make sure you check out part 2. And another nagging reminder that if you want to be alerted to part 2, please click on that subscribe button and ding the notification bell, as the YouTubers say. As always, really welcome all your comments down below. And thank you to everyone for watching. Please share this with anyone else you think might be interested, and it would be great to get more views than the last journey and bring more exposure to the channel, and hopefully have more people follow me along on my future journeys. Till next time, thanks again for watching, and if you got to this point in the video, I tip my hat to you. Well done.